Another set piece, of course, for Namibia, but Burkina Faso, in attempting to pile on the pressure, have collapsed that scrummage. Penalty in good territory. I think Namibia here, after visiting the 22 twice, they've had penalties. It's going to be an easy decision. Just go for points, kick, get the 3, and get the scoreboard ticking.
Oh, you couldn't have called it any better, as we do see preparations are intent there. Denzo Burwell be the man that will be stepping up for the task at hand. Expected to deliver what will be the first points probably here.
When you look at the flags, they are waving. He has to navigate the wind that is usually tricky in these parts of Kampala in Bulgaria. So, but it's straightforward to the upright. Should be an easy one.
Well, he goes for it. Does it count? Won't count. Well, we did see a couple of captains yesterday, a couple of kickers actually, not just captains, but kickers yesterday during the captain's run, and they were having quite a problem navigating the winds of this place. Looks like Denzo Burwell, the latest, to actually find himself falling prey to the winds here.
It will be a 22 goal line drop off for Burkina Faso, and they do hoist it up in there.
Underway, a powerful surge forward, rolling and securing the move once again. Looking to get a big kick, and well, referee citing an infringement there.
I think it's an infringement on that kick by Namibia. I thought maybe could be offside. The players who are on the chest for that kick, the Burkina one, easy penalty to Namibia, and Kasum Deme finds good touch. That's beautiful touch.
Excellent.
From Deme.
Excellent.
Just 5 meters from the try line. Their first visit in the Namibia half, and what a way to gain it.
Well, it's now hands on deck here for Namibia. Might find them rocked here if they're not at their very, very best. But for Burkina Faso, like you did say, these chances will come far and few in between, so they must literally make each one count.
They have all their big men in the line-out, so I'm thinking they're going for the push, line-out, rolling maul, and see if they can rattle the defending champions early on.
Well, the triple away draw goal line out here now coming into, trying to quickly recycle more and looking to kick and chase. Who's available? Ooh, unpredictable bounce, and that ball just swivels out.
Good decision from Burkina Faso. It's just the execution that has been off. They had a very good setup for that line out and rolling maul. Quickly recycled the ball out. Kasum Deme just overcooked that kick, the cross kick for the winger, and into touch in goal. Namibia live to die another day.
Well, count themselves very fortunate in that incident. That could have set a very different tone to this particular match if that had actually worked according to plan for Burkina Faso.
I think Burkina Faso need to align their communication there. It's the second time our Dogo Sheikh Abase is colliding with another man in his area under the high ball. First time it was against his fullback, and now it's against his fly half. Deme, another line out to Namibia.
Easy pick up here for Namibia. Trying to squeeze their way there, getting closer to the 22. Actually past the 10-meter line. Couple of fans braving the early winds of this area and turning up here for the opening game as the defending champion takes on the least ranked nation in this particular competition today. Well, after 11 minutes, has hardly looked that way, both really having the ebb and the flow, and each team giving as good as it gets. And then there was that infringement there by Salvador Sheikh Abbas.
Namibia back where they were in the very first minute of the game, line out on the 5, but they need to be more efficient. They're the defending champions. Such moments will have to send a statement to the rest of the competition, who are probably back still at the hotel watching this game. Efficiency here will go a long way in ensuring that they maintain their grip, their tight grip on the Rugby Africa Men's Cup.
Well, for this man, Denzel, who's actually had a very, very sterling performance so far for Namibia, plies his trade in Poland. It's actually, what a way to mark his first cap for the national team. Finally, they do get themselves over the line. Is that the decision of the referee? No, it won't count. And the defense, once again, of Burkina Faso holding true, but for how long?
Burkina Faso, I think they've slowly graduated from being the also reigns of the tournament, and now they are probably getting the tag of the dark horses. We saw them in the Africa Sevens in Mauritius about 2 weeks ago, and now they are here against the defending champions. The work that is being done by head coach Branson Ware is now beginning to show. South African technician is getting all those drills right with these big West African men.
Having had a lot of games, Burkina Faso this particular year, haven't played many. Last year, played 3 games, lost all 3. Doesn't look like the team at all. The referee signals that they'll have to get to it once again.
I'm really interested in seeing how this pitch will, the Namboole will handle the demands and the wear and tear that come from the scrummages. As you can already see, the turf is beginning to pick up a bit. And how long will it last? We have 4 games lined up for today.
Burkina Faso will benefit here from the referee's call. Still trying to make sure that they can get the ball recycled, just battling for territory at the moment, Namibia. Teron switching it and now trying to skip in and put in some pressure. Isaacs gets it away. Heavy battering there by Hatembu Shikufa. The referee there signaling for an offside.
Namibia playing very quick ball for Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is doing all the hard work on defense, but Namibia even much faster than them. So they get this second time on defense, they go out wide, they'll catch someone offside. And another opportunity for points. The first one went wide, this one a bit to the right of the uprights. I think on the angle, most kickers prefer not kicking to straight to the poles. They prefer kicking just a bit on the angle so they can slice the ball between the uprights.
A decent chance. Similar territory, and once again it will be Denzo Brewer who will step up to take. 15 minutes and no score to post home about just as yet. Coming up shortly after this will be neighbors of this area. The marauding Simbas from will take to the pitch. And once again, another kick, another miss. Pretty evident there on the face of Denzo Brewer, wondering just what it's going to take to finally crack not just the jigsaw of that defense of Burkina Faso, but also contend with the winds of the Mandela National Stadium.
I think at this point you can see how calm the flags were. Then the wind picked up a bit, but Brewer is failing to get his bearings right with the uprights. Ball just kissing the pole, the left of the pole, and going out. Namibia will need to be more efficient with the chances they get for points, knowing how tricky Burkina Faso are proving to be early on.
So they'll get to it once again from the scrum. Chance here. Getting tight up in here. It's good to see Burkina Faso able to match Namibia for brawn. Racing through the middle. Just manages to get some space past the 10-meter line. Quickly switching out, trying to utilize the blind side. Didn't find much luck there. Now skipping, good goose step, but brought down eventually. Burkina Faso gaining in momentum, gaining in confidence, and feeling that they're able to now take the game in. Brohan getting the ball away, out to the flank, and now looking to kick for territory. Savadogo not having as much luck as he would have wanted in that particular instance.
Good idea from Burkina Faso again in these territories, but the execution is not exactly on point. They have a good set piece, they have good composure, recycling the ball, but that final kick behind is not successful enough yet for them. But just 18 minutes played, I think it's a balanced game between the two teams. Both Namibia and Burkina Faso have had the opportunities in the red zone, but score still 0-0. They will need to strike in this game before it starts to become nail-biting.
By and large, you would say Burkina Faso have probably given a very good account of themselves, but where is it going wrong so far for Namibia?
I think Burkina Faso are just proving to be a tough nut to crack. On defense, they are contesting their breakdowns on the lineouts, as we've just seen now. They are contesting the lineouts, they are attacking, they're hitting every rack. And I think Namibia maybe did not anticipate this contest from Burkina Faso, and that's what's causing them to not put points on the board. But they're not doing anything wrong, Namibia. It's just that Burkina Faso are bringing the fight to them.
Well, quick step in here, handing off the ball. Oh, that was tipped out.
Roy Jacobs put his hand out. Under normal circumstances, in such a situation, you'd be getting a yellow card, but it's just a penalty for Burkina Faso.
Well, chance here as they get another kick. Zume, the sail, just gets a long ball in there. Namibia seem to have all the answers to the kick so far. It looks like it's end-to-end, return to sender. Savadogo Sheikh Abbas getting that fast one in there, trying to kick and chess. Does he contest well enough for it? Solid battle, but looks like Namibia will turn out victors here. Referee just making sure that Burkina Faso remember to keep their space and their pace. Namibia to realign here. Will Witches kick the ball here, seeking for territory. Long ball in, contested in the air. Looks like that's getting to be a very physical battle, and the referee and judges, that's a tackle above the shoulder.
I admire the way Kasum Deme plays. That man in the Burkina Faso, number 10. We've seen him around Africa, but my, what a player. Should have been top 3, I think, of the best players in the sevens. And just a quick turnaround of 2 weeks, and look what he's doing in Test Rugby, going up in the air, putting his shoulder into contact and winning those small battles. What a man.
Well, absolutely phenomenal with what he has delivered to the team so far. He is one of their go-to men. No doubts about that. No one will have qualms about that. It's one thing to put in a big shift against a team like Namibia. And at the moment, Deme is definitely one of those that they'll have to be looking out for. Popularly known as El Cas back home. Does play for Les Lions de Bobo. This is his 15th cap for the national team.
There's a couple of things that don't get mentioned about the Velfishers. This Namibia team, or there's Branson Wire, the man who's inspired Burkina Faso, and they continue to rise in African rugby.
Very soft-spoken, by the way, when we did get to chat with him yesterday. Very soft-spoken, but has that natural aura around him and that forceful will of being able, you can sense it even when he walks into a room. This is a person who's very confident in his abilities.
Yeah, without a doubt. And he knows what he's doing. He's been around this African continent, so he knows what works and what does not work for African rugby. I was about to mention about Namibia. This is the Rugby Africa Cup, the path to qualify for the Rugby World Cup. They've gone to the past 6 World Cups, Namibia. Only one of 3 teams that have been there before, the other being Zimbabwe and Cote d'Ivoire. What is known about them is that if it is not the final qualifying tournament for the World Cup, they do not bring their A team. But these are some of the players that will be back here next year to qualify for the World Cup, and they're getting tested by the lowest ranked team. And what a battle for them. I think if this is just the start of the tournament, there's going to be lots of reckoning for Namibia and how they approach this Africa Cup.
Well, I think you are just being a harbinger and talking about Namibia, but that might be a fair warning to every team that's in this tournament. If this is how the lowest ranked team is playing, it's going to be a very tall order tonight for any team that hopes to have a walk in the park.
Absolutely.
Back at it again, and they do secure themselves possession. Referee signaling once again that Namibia will have possession of the ball and a chance to ply forward.
It's frustrating. You saw Compare Boubacar making a plea to his halfback, Bationo Stefan, that, come on man, you can't lose the ball on the floor, and you can see them getting a handshake. The big men are doing all the hard work, but it's very frustrating to win a ball in a line out, set a rack, and by the time you get out of that breakdown, the small men, the backliners, have dropped it again, and you have to go in for a scrum.
A couple of worries here, as there seemed to be a signal there from Yanda that that heavily tapped knee of his might just have buckled under pressure. No more Stefan. Well, getting a bit of treatment here. Oh, it actually looks like it's the ankle, since it's the one that's been shifted, but that's a heavily tapped knee. Occupational hazards, huh?
Yeah, these men push lots of weight in the gym. These men put in a lot of kilometers in their strength and conditioning workouts. They're the finest of athletes. It's very, very deceptive seeing a big man on the rugby pitch because they can shift that weight. And you need to have strong knees. Unfortunately, sometimes you need that extra support of the taping. The science and technology in sport has improved so much that this is close to normal business.
Improved to an art form, you could say. All these players carry injuries that to a normal human being would hardly have them able to be locomotive at all. But by and large, as we always call it, the magic spray does its job. And back to his feet, Stefan will be able to carry on with the game here.
It's been a good contest at the scrums, and I would like you to take a look at what the front row is doing, because there's 8 men pushing all the way from the back. The first player, the first side to lift their feet will have all the pressure going against them. Just take a look at it.
Intent, tense. Battling here. Scrum fed in and looks like, well, that was collapsed there.
Yeah, Burkina Faso have lost that small battle at the front row. Once the ball went in, Namibia stayed fair and square. And then when that second shove, it just caused Burkina Faso to backtrack. And when you're 8 men on your feet, the first one to lift his feet, you're just a passenger in that race.
Definitely set to buckle under that pressure, but can they bounce it back? They do have to defend, and quite deep in their territory there. 26 minutes, fast approaching the first interval. Still no scores to write home about. Not anything we had anticipated, at least not in my books, Ernest.
I think we have the same books.
Touch in here, still maintained, and now trying to drag his way into enemy territory. Good play from Peters, and now battling through, and will they get it finally? Will that count as the first try? The referee seems to have alternate ideas.
There's an offload there just before contact, and I think, yeah, it came off the hand, so it's going to be a knock forward against Namibia on that catch of the ball. But what a supporting line from Danko Berka. Kept the ball alive. He's requesting for the TMO, says it came off his knee, but Precious Pazani is having nothing of that. Scrum fit to Burkina Faso.
Well, the skipper had literally decided to lead by example. We get another chance to have a look at it, and bounding forward with loads of energy and then looking for that offload.
I think it came off the knee.
He might have actually called it right. He might have been right.
Fine margins, very fine margins at this point.
Couldn't have put it any better. Excellent play earlier there from Peters Dihak.
Burkina Faso are being advised there. They're being cautioned by Pazani not to pull out of the scrum. It's a tactic that you can only do once when the referee says set and the front row takes a step back so that the opposing team look like they're lunging into the scrum. But they've been told to stay fair and square and feel that pressure go through their spines.
And once is good enough, especially when you're facing a referee of this stature. She definitely has that eagle eye. I don't think they would want to consider penalty here, especially when you look at how close once again it is to their own poles. Namibia have already had misfortune twice at the penalty kick. I'm not so sure you can count on the wins once again to do you a favor. Scrum holding. Burkina Faso possession, opts against kicking it. Looks like Namibia were anticipating that. Trying to switch up in play, and then finally heavy boot, lounging the ball into Namibia territory, and easily picked up by JC Nell. We haven't seen a lot here from this gentleman that is the fullback. Finally dragged out, and Burkina Faso, if they have done one thing right, they've really mastered their defense.
I think Burkina Faso are winning the small battles here. At this point, you would expect Namibia to be firmly in the driving seat, but they've been kept scoreless by Burkina Faso. The bookmakers at this point must be smiling to the bank because the odds are beginning to tip away from Namibia's side. It's now being a balanced contest half an hour through.
It's that part of the game where the wear and tear begins to tell just before the interval. This is the hardest part for you to keep your nerve and keep your wits about you. As the old adage goes, once the body goes, the brain quickly follows. Burkina Faso will do themselves a world of wonder if they can hold their fort at least and take this game still level to the dressing room interval. Switching it out. Spreading it on, trying to utilize the blind flank, and there's a good on run. Oh, could have misplaced the ball there. Looked very nervous spot to be there for the fullback to misplace the ball. And now trying to answer in equal measure. Well pegged out here, Namibia. Masters of positioning, just not giving anything away. Taking their time, Burkina Faso trying to figure out how to hack it. That was a big kick into touch here. The nerves quite evidently etched on the face, and a quick glance at the stop clock there tells the entire story. That half break cannot come any sooner.
They have 8 minutes to contend with the defending champions, but they are playing like they came here for business, Burkina Faso.
contested and lost. Burkina Faso doing a very good job at picking up, and as you quite aptly put it, winning the small battles, and in the end, really making a big stake for themselves in the Grand War.
Yeah, right. Burkina Faso, I'm amazed. A little bit of a surprise, but they've come. I think there's a famous saying that we have in rugby, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, but it's about the size of the fight in the dog. Burkina Faso are not the biggest of teams. They're not the highest ranked team here, but they're giving Namibia a run for their money.
I'm not so sure that the classification you're using is right. These are definitely not dogs. They might want to check what these are lion-hearted players. That is quite the fight they're putting in. Hardly anything for a dog fight here now. Namibia need to really realign themselves, and I'm absolutely sure that is what Alistair will be telling them in the halftime. They need to switch it up. They need to find that extra gear, the gear that makes them the 6-time on retain champions of the African Cup.
But even when they're trying to do that, they need to be patient. They need to play within the confines of the laws of the game. Such penalties, Namibia are conceding, are making Burkina Faso push slowly but steadily. They are 22, they've got a penalty on the 10, and now they are just outside the other 22. Easy penalties. First was off the breakdown, they went into touch, contested at the line out, and now they have an attacking set piece in very good territory, and I've liked how they've shaped up their set piece, Burkina Faso.
Well,
putting all men in there, causing Namibia to also commit men into the line out, and then there's some space for the backs outside to play.
Well, just outside our commentary gantry, the entire bench of Namibia has been put out here to get through their paces. Securing out here, Burkina Faso, making sure that they keep a tight lead on this. And for Namibia, well, uncharacteristic of their game, but forced to kick for territory. A little too close for comfort. Namibia secure. Oh, this is actually Burkina Faso securing. Facing stiff opposition here. Still managed to retain possession. Looking to cycle possession. Ooh, good dummy there. Sent his man reeling. A brilliant offload there from Burkina Faso. Well, if they're going to win it, they might as well win it with flair. Seeing themselves through. Battle contested, and just might be a bit of a tall order here. Yeah, finally trying to get the numbers game in. That's a loose ball, battling for it. Doesn't look like anybody's going to get it, and ultimately a solid fight guarantees that once again Burkina Faso do what they're doing best, winning the small battles. Odrago Philippe managing to retain possession there.
They've taken it a step higher. Now Burkina Faso are making those passes just before or after contact, causing Namibia to commit men, then make the pass. It opens up spaces for their backs to run. Just that now they need to take care of that breakdown. Namibia are beginning to contest as well, making it a fight for every single blade of grass on this field.
Well, scrum here, just 6 minutes to go. Not so sure who actually needs the halftime break more. Would it be the tired and anxious muscles of Burkina Faso, or would it be the agitated and repelled minds of Namibia?
Namibia need to go back to the drawing board for this one. I think they underestimated Burkina Faso, and Burkina Faso have held them for the entire half today.
Sending the ball flying, and that's going to be the grand mistake that brings the catastrophe. Quick run through, and it is try time. First try of the game, first try of the tournament, and Namibia finally have that breakthrough that they've been looking for. Kiron Magic going ahead to create a moment of magic here for Namibia.
As commentators, Cass, I must say, we've been waxing lyrical about Burkina Faso. The moment they made one mistake, that long pass from Kasum Deme, not caught by his outside center, dropped on the floor, the bounce of the rugby ball, forever tricky, and quick chase on defense. The high press has allowed them to get in behind the line, and they have their first points on the board. And an easy conversion, I expect, as that try was scored under the uprights.
Right under the upright there, but you have to say that is what literally makes champions. You make that one slip up and they are waiting right on the dot to pounce and make you pay. And that's exactly what the Woolwich have actually pulled off here. Excellent watching here from Keron Majik, just beating his time. Right place, right time. And this time had the fortune of the unpredictable bounce of the ball also in his favor. The conversion finally sitting right here for the boot of Denzel Bruel, who's been at it 3 times and finally strikes lucky this time.
I think I would have to change our thoughts from before. Namibia do not need the break. They want to keep this momentum going. Burkina Faso want to go back to the break and maybe see how they can regain that composure that they had against Namibia as well, Burkina Faso.
Well, containing them for close to 37 minutes, I do dare say Burkina Faso might just have gained themselves a huge legion of fans all across the world.
Absolutely, and now they have a free play of that scrum advantage.
Looking to contest once again. It's interesting that they've actually had a brilliant blend of both brains and brawn. The touch judge there already having signaled, or you could say slightly frustrated right now. Chekabas Savadogo wanted to find his way through here. Not so sure his body will be very happy to have cushioned his opposite number.
This is a beautiful surface to play on. I think the ground staff have watered it throughout the week. They've restricted all activity on this surface. All teams that have wanted to train here have been told to try other rugby facilities that we have around the country. And the morning shower has made it just safe enough for the players to slide on to, by any chance and all chances, avoid any bruises.
Well, that kick closed down, but still possession here for Burkina Faso. Dame Kassoum didn't find much luck this time with the boot. And they've been pushed back. And this is the Namibia of the old, repelling every attack and pushing back, gaining inch by inch. Getting them close to the halfway line. That's commendable play from Namibia.
And I think Burkina Faso are becoming a little bit too ambitious in trying to get to the outside edge. This is the second time a pass out wide does not go to the man. The first time resulted in a try, and now this time just at the stroke of halftime, it has handed possession over to Namibia, who will without a doubt be putting it to touch and taking the 7 points into the break.
Reminds me of that technique that's in boxing, rope-a-dope, where you actually draw in the opponent to thinking they can go toe-to-toe with you, and then just when it looks like their energy levels are waning, then you begin to bring your style of play. That could be a similar technique that maybe Namibia using here, and we might have given Burkina Faso a lot more credit than they were due. Because right now, on possession once again, Namibia out on the blind side and looking to obliterate. 1 man to go, and it's going to be an easy race through. Try time for Namibia.
JC Nell, what a smooth finish from the defending champions. I thought they'd kick it into touch. They decided to play on with the free play on that advantage. They did what in rugby is called the one-to-one set-piece move. They went one move to the left and then came back quickly to the right. The big men were no match for the speedsters on the outside, and a 2v1 situation is a finish for JC.
Proper nightmare for any defense there, especially when you're facing off with fleet-footed players like these ones here from the Woolwich. And it's a double advantage here as Namibia now beginning to assert their dominance on this game. I'm not so sure the score at halftime will tell the entire story, but, well, sometimes you have to win dirty. Sometimes you have to grind that win. And that's exactly what Namibia are doing here. Now, could they go for another conversion here to turn that to 14?
It's going to be the last kick of the half, but my, oh my, Burkina Faso have licked 2 tries within a space of 3 minutes.
Conversion good. And that puts Namibia finally in the driving seat. 14-0. The score at the interval Burkina Faso putting up a very definitive fight earlier on in this particular half, but in the end, turns out a little green behind the ears. And yeah, absolutely just what they needed, or just what the doctor recommended. Excellent performance there. Majik managing to get the first try, and looks like will actually continue. Won't be the final kick of the game, according to the referee.
Yep, still have some time on the referee's clock.
Now Burkina Faso look to contest. Again, that weird bounce of the ball doing its wonders as always, and Burkina Faso now in frantic activity there. Poor handling, but not paying any penalty for it. Offload good, eventually dragged out. Savadogo Shekabas, coincidentally supposed to be playing on the blind side, but seems to find it quite comfortable being anywhere and everywhere on the pitch.
There's that halftime hooter we're waiting for.
So into final play now. Pick up good from Namibia. And now use of physique to the extreme. Just carrying the ball in there, making sure that they gain as much territory as possible. Will they be looking to utilize the advantage? Yes, they do. And a quick break once again, looking to offload. This time, quick pickup. Release, excellent. Ratif sending it out on the blind side once again. Kiron Majik tried to release that, but timely pickup here from Burkina Faso. Tense moments at the tail end of the first half.
Oh, I think Deme is hurt. Can see his head, he's clutching on his head. That was a high contact on Deme. And his teammates are trying to hold him up, but that's a cause for concern.
Pick up good here from JC Nell. And now through the middle here, trying to break away.
Deme is still staggering across the field. Just out of shot there.
Should be dazed.
Very unfortunate collision. But Namibia play on.
Released, oof, butterfingers. Will Anyu know fans from the referee. And finally pulls the plug on the first half. And it's the defending champions who will walk out very dominant. But Burkina Faso can walk out as well with heads held high. That has been quite the fight that they have brought to this game. Keron Majik getting the first try there, and JC Nell getting the second. Both conversions made by Denzel Proel. It's been quite the performance here from Namibia to start off their campaign here for the Rugby Africa Cup. Halftime as they head down the tunnel. It is 14 Namibia, 0 Burkina Faso.
Round of applause for the Burkina Faso player that's getting stretched out of the pitch to receive more medical attention. Wish him the very best and a quick recovery. And the teams are back from the changing room, ready for the second half. Namibia out fast. They are leading this game 40-0. And Burkina Faso have each all to do in the second half.
And we're back for the second half right here at the Mandela National Stadium in Namboole. Second half it is. Burkina Faso taking on Namibia. Namibia bossing that first half, but only at the very tail end of it, as Burkina Faso gave in as good a fight. Now another 40 minutes for them to probably put in quite the same shift, and maybe, just maybe, this time it might yield dividends. Jermaine Agasa here, still with Anesta Korebirunji. And still calling this game, it is the Rugby Africa Cup.
Burkina Faso started the first half when it was fair and square. Of course, the odds were always going to be against them, going against the defending champions, but now they have 40 minutes to claw back from 14 points behind.
What should be the anticipation here for the first couple of minutes? How do they approach this? Go gung-ho, throw caution to the wind?
Just do the same things they were doing in the first half, but be more patient. Trust the process.
Well,
and I know it will yield dividends for them.
Heavy knock there on Ouedraogo Sayuba. Goes to the ground. The 8th man here for Burkina Faso. Switching and trying to build from deep, but Namibia really exemplifying the saying that best form of defense is attack, and really taking the fight right now to Burkina Faso.
Oh, it's a strong contest at the breakdown. They left the door open for him, and hands on the ball. First man on contact there, Jason Bernard wins a penalty for Namibia early on in the second half. Good posture as well from the loose head.
Well, you could say emotions beginning to rein in as well. A chance to go for the kick. Still hasn't been able to convert from open play just as yet. Has only had conversions go his way. This will be his third attempt in open play.
Maybe this time he's kicking into the wind, so it could go in his favor. Same territories as was in the first half, but let's see what he will do with his first attempt in the second.
Denzel Bruel launches. Still no luck. Might be a talking point there going forward. I mean, if we have a team that has one of their biggest arsenals being the ability to kick, this game may just actually have you change your game plan for the teams that are coming in later on.
They'll have different conditions that they're playing too. I know around this time we've had lots of rugby at Kings Park in Boyogere. The wind tends to pick up, tends to go down a bit at 2 p.m. and then pick up at 4 p.m. So probably the next game, Kenya and Senegal or Algeria and Cote d'Ivoire will have good conditions for their matches, but then Uganda and Zimbabwe will have to contend with the same wind that Brewer is struggling with.
Might actually have to remind you that, well, if you're looking at Google Maps, there's close to a 60 90-degree angle twist towards the right from Kings Park to this particular pitch here. But tight, ferocious contest here. It's Burkina Faso putting in a decent shift here. Retain possession. Pressure mounting here. Namibia trying to close them down. They do manage to get that kick. And ball is into touch.
Namibia slowly now starting to assert their authority over Burkina Faso. The defense is another gear, especially the high press. It is forcing Burkina Faso to, instead of settle down and exit, they are just releasing the pressure valve, and it's not lasting for long, as now the defending champions are back knocking at their door.
Good hold off. Now looking to quickly catch the opponents while they're still asleep. Very tricky client here, Jacques Theron. Battling, inching, closer and closer. Well, another try here made all but seal the deal. If it will do one thing, well, it will definitely knock the staffing out of Burkina Faso. They need to keep their wits. Ooh. Misplacing the ball. The referee's call finally coming through.
They had advantage initially for offside, so it was always going to be a free play. But they now have to choose between two penalties, one for the high tackle and one for the offside. They go for the one that's closer to the uprights. And they're shaping up to do a tap and go.
Well, you wouldn't really blame them. They haven't had much luck with the kicking just as yet. Interesting to see how few others will fare with the same. Battling to get this one through. Set in. Nice offload there. And now looking to get out to the open side. And good defense there. Just dragging him off. The substitute, Baro Alsatieri. Baro Alsantieri, who did come on at the halftime there, just putting in a... Oh, it's actually Zebashunga Yves.
I think the long pass out wide is not working for both teams. Burkina Faso tried it in the first half, considered a try on one of them. Namibia have opted to go and catch their opponents out wide, but the defense is still good enough.
Well, Zibango doing a tremendous job, just keeping a clean eye there. But in the end, still advantage here to Namibia. It's quickly becoming a question of when rather than if that try will be gotten, because it's just constantly camping right at the front door of Burkina Faso. Looks like there's a subset to be made here for Burkina Faso in just a bit.
Namibia in the blue and white, taking on Burkina Faso with the green and red. Scores: Namibia 14, Burkina Faso 0.
Quick release anticipated and getting the ball on and trying to quickly muscle their way in, and once again, too swift, too clean, too crisp. Kiron Magic gets his second try of the day.
Sweet set piece rugby.
It was hardly anything that Burkina Faso could do in that instance. It was just one of those set plays that you just have to step back and say, wow.
It's the hard work of the forwards there from that scrummage. They made it square, and then the angle, the big man on the angle, sucks in two men, opens the door just enough for Quincy to just go over. It's good set piece rugby from the defending champions. What a try.
Kiron Magic manages to get another in here. And now a change of kicker. And it looks like this time the captain, Danko Berger, attempting to go for it. That's marked the upright and just went away. So 19-0 it stands at the moment.
I think at this point it's fair to conclude that it's not the conditions on the pitch, it's Namibia's kicking was.
Oh, but that was too close for comfort.
two of their kickers in very good territory and they cannot convert those points. Maybe today against the lowest seeded team, they will get away with it, but Wednesday and Sunday, when push comes to shove, such points leaving them on the field might come to hurt them, Namibia.
At it again, Burkina Faso. At the moment, you must say, must be really fancying that in the bare minimum, at least find themselves some points on the scoreboard. For them, logo Maurice Musa. Setting it off here for Bationo. Stefan loses possession, good kick. Now Namibia will have to dig themselves out of a tricky spot. They hope to do that with a quick hoof to the ball. Picked up well. This is Deme Pase Abdul Bashir. The up and under looks like a little bit of a robot.
JC is very smart there, aware of the rugby laws, but it's Jacques Teron who wins that battle in the air just in front of his coach Alisa Kodzea, who has coached the Springboks before, by the way. So we are in rugby royalty at this Rugby Africa Cup.
Couldn't ask for anything less, I must say, but he might be one of those who's feeling that his team probably would have brought a bigger A game to this than they have. But the ends will justify the means. 19-0. Still sounds comfortable here for the defending champions to kickstart their campaign, and it could even get more.
Yeah, they still have 30 minutes to play, so with the way how they've kept the door shut on Burkina Faso, and Burkina Faso keep giving them those little chances, like just now on the set piece.
Well, that was not a very good one from Ouedraogo Abdoukadir. The kick here from Namibia. Looks like they might have to backtrack a bit.
Just kicked it straight into touch. Line out for Burkina Faso on the mark where he kicked from. I was just about to tell you that Namibia, for today, they can be happy to take the win. It's knockout rugby for the Africa Cup. You need to win just 6 games to qualify for the World Cup next year. In 2027, but the final one will be next year in 2025, back here in Kampala. So far, so good for the defending champions. 19 points ahead as they bring on their former Sevens captain, Burkina Faso.
Manages to get onto the pitch. Flung away and now looking to gain some territory. Stefan finding some opposition. He's the big man, and if the big man is getting taken out, then woe betide the rest of the defense here. Milogo Maurice Musa manages to keep possession. Ooh, butterfingers. The referee says no trouble there. Skipping one challenge, skipping a second. Can he go all the way? Gets the ball on to the new man who's just come on. Zana Anton. Ooh, too close for comfort. That's going to be very painful in there.
It's the first line break we've seen in the entire game. It goes to the hands of Burkina Faso. Oh, what a break there from Adama Deme, the captain, looking for that support line. Gets him just fine, but that final pass for the man running support does not go to hand. Ouedraogo Sayuba drops it and try scoring opportunity goes begging.
For substitution for Namibia, and it is the flag is over. Going to be replaced by number 22, Julian Willis.
Kodzea there is, you know, with rugby, it's a very lonely place to be when you're the head coach. Unlike other sports where you're on the touchline, you're on the ropes for boxing, or you're just there on the court, on the floor.
Yeah.
for basketball. In rugby, test rugby, the coaches are all the way up in the stands, very lonely, and the only way to communicate to your team on the floor, on the grass, is by using the walkie-talkies and radio calls.
Well, I just had the impression he was about to sing Lonely at the top, but, well, that's just me. Ball taken away, trying to brave in. Emeogo taken down. Antoine Zana having quite a bit of a problem penetrating here. Burkina Faso sticking tight. They are trying to weave their way in, but that's too close to the byline, and in the end they just have to lose possession.
First contribution from Ilian Bukes, and he gets Namibia out of their 22, just outside halfway. They keep recycling that ball hard. And then the kick just behind the first line of defense. I think that's probably a 50-22. Is it inside the line or just outside? Good kick there from JC Nell. And he's sporting a mustache. I think it's too early for November, but those are some of the beautiful shots that we're getting here in the Rugby Africa Cup.
Well, they say the old is back, and mustache definitely a good allusion back to that.
Yeah, that's a 50-22 good kick from JC. The lineout is going to be taken on the mark.
That's interesting there. And once again, Burkina Faso find themselves pegged back. Daou Omar is another that is introduced to reinforce the back line. Well, referee not happy with that take. That will have to be retaken.
They have all their 7 men, 8 men actually, when you include the hooker in the line-out. Namibia
definitely guarantees the fact that it's going to be a numbers game once again, and trying to use physique. This time Burkina Faso knew a thing or two about it and seemed to have well prepared for it, and collapsing at will. The referee signals chance here for Burkina Faso, and looking to make a quick break and gather territory here. But Yono Stepan,
they have advantage as well. Burkina Faso, they've defended the Namibia set piece so well.
Yono releasing quick, trying to get Comparable Boka Boba, as is popularly known down in Burkina Faso. Heavy challenge here. Haven't seen a lot from the captain, Deme Adama. Solid hold. Well, has him in a chokehold, could not go anywhere. Burkina Faso having to create a couple of ideas here right at the center line. Just a couple of, just a few feet away from the center line. Good hold, still in retain. Burkina Faso looking to break. Well, quite wiggly there. Point on Zana Claude.
There's going to be some consultation with the assistant referees in the touchline. Let's listen and see and hear what call is going to be. Yeah, offside against Namibia. A little too eager on that breakdown, and the team on the far side are onside, but those on the near side giving away a penalty.
Burkina Faso 0. That recognize dignitaries that are part of us this morning. Employees, Regional Training Manager, Rugby, Mr. Robert Wally, Manager, Rugby,
20 minutes played in this second half, and we have our first water break.
Well, quite aptly at the right time. Was the sun clearly coming out here in full vigor. Might be time to hydrate. Chance here to have a few tad limbs get readjusted.
Chance for the players.
Well, the fans already out here in the stands, and a couple of those dripping on their preferred club support. I can see a Toyota Buffalo somewhere in there. Yes, these are stands that you anticipate that will be packed to the brim as we tend towards that 4 p.m. kickoff. That has been one that has been very much anticipated, as the Uganda Cranes will take to the pitch. But up next, the neighbors will also have a chance to stake their claim in the games here today, as Kenya will actually take to the pitch next. Already seen their bus arriving.
I think they're already going through their warm-up inside the main arena. The Kenya Simbas against the big men from West Africa, Senegal.
Doesn't look like he'll be able to carry on, will he? Seems to be in quite a bit of pain there, but we'll soldier on. We'll soldier on as we return from the water break. About 57 minutes on the clock. It is the one that gets to start it off. That is Ouedraogo Abdoukadir.
They've changed their hook, and first ball is not straight.
Namibia looking to secure here, picking the ball, rushing forward. Flung away, looking to make that kick, big one. Front, that was a good kick, and now waiting for that bounce allows Namibia to get numbers on the pack up front. And now here's a chance to retaliate. Good hold off. Dau Omar manages to retain possession. Burkina Faso forcing the issue. That's a very tight line there from Namibia. They're absolutely leaving nothing to chance here.
Yeah, the defense is making the attack work hard for every inch forward. You saw that kick, just 2 men on the ball. But Burkina Faso know how to retain possession. Unfortunately, after doing all the hard work, they put those little non-contestable kicks up front, handing over possession very quickly and easily to Namibia, who so far have been flawless on the scoreboard.
Going to be hard to challenge.
And on the contrast, you can see the kind of kicks that Namibia are kicking to them.
Big boot. Ooh, butterfingers this time round from Kiron. Gets it on here to JC, just gliding through the midfield there. Middle of the pack. Literally seem to be spirited on. Makes running look so easy and so graceful. And here's another break. Hop step. Making a big run. And it is try time. Audrey Boysen with an emphatic exclamation mark planted firmly on this game. You could as well say it's over here.
Oh, what a try. I love seeing those big men running. Adrian Boysen puts on the afterburners, a break through the middle. Wow, he's emptied the gas tank there.
Definitely taken something out of him, but big man with such agility had a couple of shoeless tackles being thrown his way, and just kept skipping past them, you know, just running through the rain and still kept going.
I love test rugby.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful sight.
Those big men, look how he puts in the work, stays on his feet. And after making that break, nobody was a match for him for pace. Try in the corner.
We're looking to convert. If they can, that's going to be a bit of a tall order. And task falls on the captain. Dan Kuberg goes for it and looks like he might nail it. Yes, he does. Conversion supreme.
They're failing the simple ones, but they're doing so well with the ones out wide.
Well, isn't that the championship mentor? What everyone calls easy, they might stumble. Where everybody dares not to go, they go with ease.
That was a beautiful kick. Slices with his left boot. (26-0) current score. Namibia, the reigning, defending, undisputed champions,
putting in the work here against Burkina Faso, who just can't seem to catch a break.
The game will start 26 to Namibia. Burkina Faso 0. We in the second half for first game. Rugby on the ground here at the Stadium.
Back underway. Looking to relinquish. The referee's whistle already having gone. As the sun comes out, the wind reducing in its intensity, and with it the fans swelling in the ranks. The next game is going to be one to suffer, really.
Yeah, it's
Kenya and Senegal.
It's the neighbors.
Yeah. Interesting talk that they had at the airport when they were picked up. They talked to some of our reporters, and the captain kept insisting and saying, "We are here, brace yourselves." Well, the talk has been talked, and it's about time to put in the work.
If it's been anything to go by, when the Kenyans say they're going to do something, given the current affairs across the border, wanaanguka nayo. Good scrummaging from Burkina Faso. That pressure from the front row going through the new pack of the defending champions. A man on his knee gives out a penalty to the West Africans. They'll be going for touch in the corner. Island throw now for Burkina Faso. Good for ball and well recycled by the big men now, looking for space out wide. They've been doing that well, passing the ball after contact, causing the defense to commit, and they go back to the short side. Well recycled by the little number 9. He's been busy today, but Jono Stefan, and now to the backs out wide. Numbers are plenty, beautiful side steps. Now a dummy pass. Again, making the defense commit with those offloads after contact. They have a full penalty for it. Very good ball retention and attacking play from Burkina Faso. They have an opportunity to put points on the board with this penalty. Their first attempt in territory, 4 points.
Well, will
they
be able to keep calm heads? Because, well, hasn't really been an easy going there. Just the incident that actually led to the sequence of play.
Namibia have dominated this game the close contacts, the scoreboard. But Burkina Faso have done well given the expectations, and they've held their weight. Perhaps this first penalty for points, the first in the entire hour that we've had this Rugby Africa Cup ongoing, is going to be a reward for all their efforts. Maybe get their campaign going with these 14 minutes or so left in this match.
Dame Pasi Abdul Bashir to take a chance here for Burkina Faso. The silence that has descended on Namboole. And Burkina Faso quickly find out that kicking might be a bit of a tall order in this stadium, just as it has been for all that have attempted. Not a bad effort, not a very bad effort, but fine margins. And when you're down at the Rugby Africa Cup, those fine margins could be the difference between points on the board or nothing at all.
They did their kicking practice yesterday, all the 8 teams on this very surface. But as it stands, the kicking accuracy is below 50% from all the teams combined. Maybe it's just the first game. We'll see how it compares for the remainder of the tournament.
I think I will say yesterday was a deceptive condition because so many of them were getting their kicks worked out and everything was flowing and everything was in tall order. Well, it looks like Namboole today is also giving a bit of a challenge of its own. Will tumble and fall to the ground as quickly clocking in the minutes here. Barely 20 or so minutes. A couple of the lads that gave in their all earlier on in the game now taking a much needed break. For Namibia, it definitely looks like it's going to be smooth sailing. Can begin to contemplate who they face off with next, and that will be either Uganda or Zimbabwe.
That bracket of the tournament is the toughest path to the final here this year. All teams very experienced, all teams very competitive, and for sure whoever wins from this bracket will have earned their place in that final. But it's not to say it's going to be a walkover for the teams on the other bracket.
Well, the other side of the equation, or the other side of the path, starts next with the Simbas as they take on their lion counterparts or feline counterparts from Senegal. It's going to be interesting, the big cats battle. I could say from the captain's run yesterday, probably having the loudest team shout there. Kenya. Their Tuko is something to behold, and we'll be waiting to see if it actually does deliver in equal proportions in play. Tail end of this game, Namibia 26, Burkina Faso 0. Not from lack of effort. It's been a very, very strenuous game for them.
I think the clock has been stopped to allow some substitutions. But we should not forget to mention that it's going to be an epic tie in the third quarter final. That Francophone derby between Algeria and Cote d'Ivoire is one not to miss.
Probably the most unpredictable game, I would say, in this group.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're on another quick break. Looked like a high tackle, but referee spot on and allows play to continue, so deemed unnecessary. Burkina Faso backs against the wall, siege heavy. Eventually, they do get the benefit here.
Namibia have had a good attack on their set plays, but I admire this Burkina Faso defense. They're patient, they don't give away penalties in their red zone, and the tacklers do the hard work, leave the gate open for the first man on the ball. Jacklers are going straight for the ball and earning those penalties. Imagine a tackle there and a turnover there from in front of your uprights. Ooh. With 10 minutes left to play, it can go a long way in reducing the damage in this game.
Well, Well, some changes here for Witcher. Just making a few quick shifts in there. Seeing Ian Klitska coming in, as well as Fisher Chris. That is Chiriku.
I think that's playing the ball on the floor, but they had the free play. Namibia made one extra movement after contact. That's a good call from Pazani. She is the finest referee in Uganda, in African rugby. Another set piece in good territory for Namibia. It's on the edge. And you can see how the Burkina Faso defense have shaped up. They've committed all but one man on that first line of defense. They're looking to go blitz forward, but the Namibia backs are so deep and they're shaping up in what looks to be a backdoor play of this set piece, but the forwards could have their own plans.
A few ideas, sending it out and eventually trying to make that break there. First line of contact doing its job well for Burkina Faso, holding solid, trying to keep the fort running. Ultimately, Burkina Faso will have to earn full marks there in that sequence for defending aptly. Very intelligent defense that they've been displaying today.
Yeah, when they've not had many opportunities on the ball, the hard work has to come without the ball, and they've been doing well at it despite this score. Perhaps from 77 2 years ago to 26 here in 2024, that's a huge, huge leap forward from Burkina Faso. You've got to give them credit for the work that they've put in against the defending champions today.
Obviously, of all the teams in this tournament, handed the short end of the straw to face off with the titan of the pack. 26-0. Well, definitely says quite a bit about their progress here. Might be a much tighter contest at the end of the day.
You know, as you mentioned, that there's going to be no pushovers. The most unpredictable game is the one between Algeria and Cote d'Ivoire. The way the seeding of this Rugby Africa Cup is done is you have to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Top seed number 1 Namibia facing bottom seed number 8 Burkina Faso. From the start, you're on the back foot as Burkina Faso, but some progress that you can be happy with, given the whole context, the greater picture of this competition. They've barely played any test rugby this year. Most of their players are based away from home. They're not playing active rugby. They've just come from the Rugby Africa Men 7s in Mauritius. They have the same technical bench for 15s and for 7s. This is a small team that is punching way above their weight.
Well, some changes in there, seeing the introduction of Thiombien Gaitan coming in, as well as Ula Blau coming on there for Namibia, and a chance here for Namibia to break hard. And it's a try by the substitute Vickers Jacobs. Just caught on and instantly puts his name on the try sheet there. Consummate performance here. The celebrations can begin in earnest right now here for for Namibia.
Another big man running. I love seeing these tries. This one's from the front row. He just makes that step just before contact, evades the 2 men, breaks through the middle. And there's nothing more beautiful to see than a front row player running faster than an outside back, diving over for the try. But look at that step just before contact, off the shoulder, beating 3 men.
And then heading to exactly where he wanted to head, right down the center.
Try time, Namibia.
Chance here to convert for more points. It's the captain once again, Dankuberg, who steps up. Danku. And that's a successful one. Will count. It is 33-0 for Namibia. Burkina Faso slowly being dragged towards the end where they did not want to end up once again. Their plan definitely, I must say, at one point, one way or another, it might be hard to probably fathom or agree with, but it must have been to shave as many points off their last outing against Namibia. And for the moment, they're still within range, 33. Their last one was over 50. I'll be hoping that they're not dragged further more. If they could keep it in the 30s, then there's a marked improvement.
I think at this point, it's not about how many points they concede, because that's already too much, but it's going to be about if they can actually get points on the board. They've only had one shot at goal, which they missed, but they've played well. I think you can understand the situation where and the position where they're coming from. Now we need to see some points on the board, because this is going to be a difficult tournament for them. And one of the things, if you're the bottom seed, one of the things that you can be happy about is going home saying, we scored a try.
2 games in a row and still no point conceded by Namibia against their opponents here, Burkina Faso. Seem to have their number. In the meantime, 40 minutes away from kickoff for the next game, as the Simbas of Kenya will take on Senegal. All the action coming to you live here on NBS Sport as we continue to champion Ugandan sport. And of this morning, taking it a notch higher and embracing the entire African continent, just like Namibia, embracing the speed within their sails. And it's another try. Pietras de Haak finally gets himself on the score as well. It's 38 now.
The floodgates, I think, have begun to open now. The conditioning is beginning to show. Burkina Faso have done all the hard work, but they're now running on dry fumes, and the spaces are beginning to open up on the outside. Look at that overlap there. 3 attacking against 1, only 1 pass needed, and it put Peter Derga into space for yet another try. We were hoping, I was personally hoping for a try for Burkina Faso, thinking they would not concede anymore, but at this point, they need to go back to damage control.
The old adage, sympathy for the underdog, it's just not working out just as yet here. Another chance for the conversion, and it's the captain once again, Danku, stepping up to this. Ooh, again, Namboole does what it does best, providing another steep challenge. This time just brushing against the upright, and that will not count.
I've not watched a lot of football in Uganda here, but I would like to know how many penalties have been scored at Namboole, given that the best of the footballers on these rugby teams are struggling.
Well, it's a much easier appointment for them. They just have to try and keep it hard and low. That's the place that normally the goalkeepers tend to hate. So the rugby, you have to have the elevation, the accuracy, and the precision to get it done, and then contend with the wind. A bit more of a challenge, I would say.
That's why they call it the Rugby Football Union.
Back in again, Namibia, with just about 2 minutes on the clock. Chance here now for Burkina Faso, and you can actually see for Burkina Faso right now, their idea is to attempt to get points, and looks like there's descent in the ranks.
I like what Sawadogo has opted for. I'm the man with the ball. I am calling for points. We need to save face at this point. And despite the pleas from the big men, they want to flex some muscle. It's decided that we shall go for the 3, Burkina Faso. That responsibility lies in the feet of Deme Pasi Abdul Basihu, their fullback. It's going to be their second attempt for points in this game as the clock slowly ticks towards the full-time whistle.
I don't know if it's just me. I did see stunning comparisons there between Savadogo Rashid and Uganda's vice-captain Conrad Wanyama with the way he's insisting and being adamant with his play. But let's see if he'll be justified here. Dame to take the kick. Silence descending on Namboole. And he goes for it.
No, it's gone wide as well.
At this point, someone might have to keep a tally of just how many are going wide. They are clearly way more than those going in.
What do Burkina Faso need to do right at this point? This was way off the mark.
Well, the kick started off here. Collected well by Burkina Faso. Shifting feet and trying to switch lanes. Good handoff. And now a bit of the kick. Trying to get the ball, but quickly picked up here. Namibia staying pretty much alert to the proceedings. Jacques Teron. Now the ball picked up here well by Christine Munjoy.
Yeah, I thought the referee had missed that one. There's a man flying off his feet. Like they say, airplane taking off, airplane landing, you need to stay off your feet, to stay on your feet to contest at that breakdown. Namibia giving her a penalty, but like we said at the very start of the game, Burkina Faso did not come to be pushovers. They've contested at every point that they've had, and slowly but steadily it's provided dividends, but unfortunately that might be the last piece of action that they will give in this match.
Well, will it be the one that finally yields something for them? That's the big question. Very good area to be, especially at this time. They might get the last laugh. Not exactly winning the war, but just might get themselves something out of this small battle. And I'm pretty certain it's going to be top of Namibia's agenda now to deny them that last chuckle.
That's the cruelty of sport. You give your best, but sometimes it's not good enough. Burkina Faso have given their all against the defending champions, but it's still nil. But maybe there's going to be some flowers for their hard work.
And finally, they've gotten themselves points on the board. Try time for Burkina Faso. And the joy that is with the team would get you believing that finally they've actually managed to level. Wasn't level, but quite the excellence. Milogo Maurice Musa going on to make sure that they will have something to smile about.
If there's anyone happy outside the Burkina Faso players, fans, and everyone around the world, it's me. I am happy that they've put points on the board, because there had to be a reward for all their effort that they put in today. And they've made it look so easy, that final try. Good set piece, through to the front. There's no contest from Namibia. The big man powered over for the try. Now they can put maybe an icing on their small cake, with this conversion.
Goes for the kick. Dame Adama, the skipper, but in the end, just cannot get the conversions. And it is full time here in the opening game. Namibia with an emphatic display here. And it looks like Jacques Theron will be the man of the match here for his performance, stellar performance throughout the 80 minutes of play. And for Burkina Faso, the learning curve continues. A big gulf in class, as emphasized by that scoreline, 38-5 final scoreline. And Namibia will march on. For Burkina Faso, it's straight down to the classifications.
It's been a good contest, good 80 minutes of rugby from both teams, but of course the defending champion has prevailed. Namibia had all the questions, they had all their boxes checked. Burkina Faso tried their level best, put some contest at the breakdown, were beautiful and good to watch, but ultimately it was not good enough, and Namibia will continue their sail forward.
Well, smiles here as the man of the match. Plague is handed over.
Right, thank you so much, Brian. Yes, we are live for you down here at the pitch side, and we are about to talk to the big performers right here. Ah, okay, all right. Oh, okay, great. Okay, all right, that's okay. Just going to wait for you.
Le match a été